Hello everybody, my name is Ryan and today I am here at Epcot because yesterday WDW News Today released rumors from D23 Expo in regards to Epcot's 5-year expansion plan in which they're planning to completely make over and completely update all of Epcot. So today I figured I'd come on down here and tell you guys exactly what is going to be happening. The first update that is going to be made to Epcot is that the Leave a Legacy tombstones behind me are going to be taken out and they will be constructing a new entryway for Epcot to bring it into the present day, because most of these structures here was put here in 1982. Now, while the ideas and thought behind this area is nice and all, I do find it pretty ironic that a theme park that is supposed to be themed around creating and building the future has been so focused on preserving the past. That has always confused me a little bit. So I do think that an update to this area, as nice as it is, does need to happen. Now the second update I'm going to be talking about has to do with Spaceship Earth, the beloved icon and classic ride from Epcot. Siemens is expected to renew their expiring contract with Disney for Spaceship Earth. And with it, we're hoping for some changes. So I'm going to hop in line here, we're going to ride the ride, and we're going to check it out a little bit. The final scene in the ride was created in 2007, and we as a society have advanced both technologically and intellectually incredibly in the past decade. I personally would like to see a change to that final scene. It at least needs to be updated, and the future, which is now our present, needs to be brought into the ride, because we're no longer living on just personal home computers. Like, we have phones, we have little portable computers that we bring around with us. We have so much more technology than what is displayed in that ride. So I do think those elements of today need to be brought into the attraction. Granted, that is a hard ride to maintain and keep up to date because so much new technology is being created every day. So it's hard for Spaceship Earth to remain up to date constantly. But I do believe it is time for it to have an update. In addition to the hopeful update of the ride, it is likely that Project Tomorrow is going to see a complete overhaul. D23 has not announced specifically what they're planning to do with this area. Not sure if they're going to keep the games and things that they have here currently, or whether they're just going to update them to make them more current, but it is likely that this area is going to be changing. Now, walking around behind Spaceship Earth leads me to update number 3, which has to do with the Innovations Plaza area. Although we are unsure specifically what's going to be happening to this area, it is highly likely that the Innovations East and Innovations West buildings are going to be demolished to make for easier access to the future world areas behind and around here. It looks like they're going to be putting in a multi-level table service restaurant. Not quite sure if Electric Umbrella is going to be staying here or not. That was not listed in the Expo expansion plan. I really hope they don't do anything to touch the Fountain of Nations here, because the show that occurs every now and then, I'm not sure exactly what the time interval is, but the show that appears here is super cool. The water set to the music is great. I also hope they do not touch Club Cool, because I love this area. I come here 5 or 6 times every time I come to Epcot. I love the drinks they have here. So I hope those 2 areas stay. However, with the Innovations Plaza update, I do know that Mouse Gear is going to be remodeled. Not sure how drastic the changes to this are going to be, however, it is looking like that's going to be happening soon. And welcome to Epcot's biggest area of controversy and speculation for the past year or so, Ellen's Universe of Energy. The rumors about this attraction are true. It is closing forever, a little after October 1st, which is the park's 35th anniversary. Now, the biggest question remains, what is going to be replacing it? There have been theories that it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and there are theories that it is going to be Tron. It is looking like the one that is going to be replacing it is Guardians of the Galaxy. The Wonders of Light Pavilion back here, There are rumors about that also being gutted out so that they can place new attractions in there as well. So this is going to become a small Guardians of the Galaxy themed land. It is looking like the Tron roller coaster, which was what people were originally saying was going to be put in this building, which makes sense because it is a big building on the inside. So if they gutted out Ellen, there is a lot of space in there for them to put an indoor roller coaster. But it is looking like the Tron coaster is going to be set for Magic Kingdom, which leaves this area free to become Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a little bit heartbroken to see Ellen go away because it is a super funny show. I love Ellen DeGeneres, and the ride is a nice 45-minute break from the scorching heat in the summer, and it just gets you off your feet and you get to sit down. I know that it is out of date. I know that it is. However, I do still enjoy it. Now, if you walk a little bit further away from the Universe of Energy, you're going to see that Mission Space is currently closed for refurbishment. It should be back up and running in just a few weeks. This attraction is included in D23's 5-year expansion plan for Epcot. Now, it's looking like what's going to happen is the on-ride film is going to be replaced with a much more updated and new and exciting film. So that's good. I'm hoping personally that it's going to be randomized so that you're not just traveling to Mars every single time, and that it's kind of going to be like Star Tours where the planets you travel to are going to be random, the movements are going to be random. That would make the ride a little bit more exciting. However, not entirely sure if that's what's going to be happening. And it's also said that a lot of cosmetic changes are going to be happening to the ride. So I'm not quite sure what that means or what that's referring to. That could mean the inside of the queue is going to be updated, the outside here area is going to be updated. I'm not quite sure, but I think big things are coming to Mission Space because we have the technology to make this ride a lot cooler and a lot more exciting than it currently is. I am heartbroken by this next rumor, but it is looking like Journey into Imagination with Figment is going away. We're going to be waving goodbye to Nigel Channing, and Figment is now going to be sharing the ride with the 5 emotions from Inside Out. And if Imagination has to be replaced, I do appreciate that it looks like at the moment they are keeping Figment in #1. And #2, they chose Inside Out as the new theming of the ride. So if all goes according to plan, this will be a ride based around, I'm assuming, how the emotions can affect the imagination, which will be an interesting take on this ride since at the moment it is how the senses affect the imagination. As disappointed as I am to see the current ride changed, I think that will be an interesting new perspective on this ride. So,
right at the start of everything that's new, one little spark lights up for you.
WDW News Today's article said nothing regarding this area of minigames revolving around Figment and the senses. However, if this rumor pans out and Pixar's Inside Out does come to this attraction, I would assume that this area would likely be redone. I'm making a quick pit stop at the Land Pavilion because it looks like there will be a few minor changes made. Nothing too drastic. The land looks like it's going to stay pretty much the same, so I'm going to head inside and show you guys. Before I head in there, I just want to reassure all of you that Soarin' Around the World will remain the highlighting attraction inside the land. Soarin' is not going away. It was just recently updated so that it travels to more places than just California. So it looks like that's going to be staying because it is not included in this 5-year expansion plan. The biggest change that is coming to the Land Pavilion is that the Circle of Life and Environmental Fable movie will be replaced with a new film. Not a lot of people know this is even here, and those that do don't tend to pay any attention to it because either they believe that it's boring, or it's out of date, or they're just not interested in it. So I believe something new and something more exciting can go inside that area. The last minor change coming to the Land Pavilion is that Living with the Land, the boat ride is going to be seeing a few upgrades. I'm not quite sure what could be changing with the ride because it's very cool and seems current as it is because it brings you into a real-life farming and aquaculture area that is used by Epcot. So I'm not quite sure what could be changing, but it does look like some minor modifications are going to be made to that ride in the future. Now it appears as though the Seas with Nemo and Friends is going to be having more changes done to it than the Land Pavilion. It's not even going to be keeping the same name. it looks like it's going to become the Marine Life Institute, which was the featured location in Pixar's Finding Dory. This is being speculated because of the popular new attraction in Tokyo Disney Sea, the Nemo and Friends Sea Rider. I'm not sure exactly if the entire pavilion's getting a makeover, or if the ride is going to be changing any, or if it's just going to be the attractions after the ride, but it does look like something along those lines is going to be happening to the seas. I personally believe that if this pavilion does become the Marine Life Institute, it will not only further immerse the pavilion into the story of Finding Nemo, but it will also appeal to the future generation of kids who have grown up on Finding Dory as opposed to Finding Nemo, and it will spark their interest in visiting what is now the seas with Nemo and Friends. And I am not sure if it's coming, however, an update to the ride would be pretty cool. The ride itself isn't bad now, per se. It is more of a one-dimensional ride, meaning that the car only faces one direction, so you can't look all around you and be absorbed that way in the ride. The car only faces one way, so you've got one wall of things to look at. And all of the animation comes to us in the form of projections. There aren't very many animatronics or 3D objects that we can see and interact with. So I don't know, if they change the ride that way, I think that would be pretty interesting. We'll just have to see what comes to it, along with everything else that I've talked about so far today. Epcot stands for the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. So it's appropriate that the second half of Epcot's theming would be centered around unity among cultures, races, religions, everything, which is why the World Showcase is here, so that we can all learn to appreciate the cultures of the 11 different countries that are displayed here. However, in this new 5-year expansion plan, it is coming to light that perhaps additional countries are going to be added to the World Showcase and it will be expanded. The biggest 3 countries that were listed as possibly being added to the World Showcase are Brazil, Spain, and Puerto Rico. So it's looking like Spain is going to be the one most likely for Disney to add into the World Showcase here because of the new movie Gigantic, scheduled to come out in 2020, which I'm assuming takes place in Spain, and they would like to include an attraction or some sort of theming for that movie in the Spain pavilion here. Specifically within the World Showcase, the Mexico pavilion will be seeing some changes as the Grand Fiesta Tour boat cruise starring the 3 Caballeros, which has been here for a very long time, is going to be updated. Let's go ahead and check that out.
Caballeros, tricky caballeros, they say we are birds of a feather.
So because that attraction is mostly projection-based, similar to the Seas with Nemo and Friends, it would be very, very easy for Disney to just replace what is being displayed there, keep the scenery, keep the track for the boat ride, and just reimagine it so that it is set to the theme of the new Disney Pixar movie coming out within the year, Coco. Now, people who know the ride very well, like I do, are aware that Disney just added the 3 Caballeros to the finale scene in the form of animatronics. And people might be wondering, why would they replace the ride after just recently adding that new finale scene to it? And the answer is because they were on a very limited budget and knew that it was a temporary thing, so they didn't even spend as much money as people think they did on those animatronics. So it's looking like that ride is just going to be re-themed to make it more contemporary, because a lot of little kids don't know who the 3 Caballeros are, as sad as that is, and once Coco comes out, that will be more contemporary and logical to put in the space that the Grand Fiesta Tour used to occupy. the next change coming to Epcot comes to us in the China Pavilion, and the Reflections of China Circle Vision 360-degree film housed in the building behind me. It probably is going to be seeing an update where Mushu, the dragon from Mulan, is now going to be narrating the history of China to make the film more interesting, approachable, and appealing to younger children. Because now, in addition to the culture and historical background of China, it will be incorporating pieces of Disney that children and adults can relate to. So that should be pretty exciting. I haven't seen Reflections of China in a long time, and unfortunately I don't have time to do it right now, but I think that will definitely add a unique and imaginative aspect to make it more fun and more interesting. Additionally, it looks as though Epcot is going to be borrowing some inspiration from Walt Disney Studios Paris. I have always said that one of the biggest Disney movies that has always been neglected in the 4 parks here at Walt Disney World is Ratatouille. So I am hoping and praying that these rumors turn out to be true, because if they are, it appears as though there's going to be a trackless Ratatouille attraction as there is in Disneyland Paris. I would love to have a Ratatouille ride here at Disney World. Les Chefs de France, as well as Monsieur Paul's restaurant on the other side of it, housed in the same building, are both going to be gutted out or demolished to make way for Bistro Chez Remy, which is another well-loved restaurant that already exists in Disneyland Paris. There are big things coming here to the France Pavilion, and I would love to see some of these changes being made here. Now, with the sequel to Mary Poppins coming out pretty soon and the rumored closure for the Great Movie Ride, the United Kingdom behind me could be seeing the very first Disney attraction dedicated solely to Mary Poppins, one of its biggest, most popular films ever. In addition, both the Japan and Germany pavilions still have buildings that were originally going to be used for attractions but still stand empty today. So it begs the question, in this 5-year plan, will they be putting attractions now in those buildings? They could do so much with them. For Germany, they could put in a Tangled or Snow White ride, and for Japan, they could have a big Hero 6 attraction. So those would be huge, huge changes that could bring more people to those pavilions, because they currently have no attractions or films or shows that really draw in a significant number of people. So doing so could make those pavilions a lot more popular, and could also make people want to learn more about the culture of those countries. For now, the final change and update that has been listed as coming to Epcot involves Illuminations Reflections of Earth. This is the longest running fireworks show of any of the fireworks shows at any of the Disney parks all around the world. It began in 1999, and although it is still a very beloved fireworks show, it is likely coming to an end with the introduction of this 5-year expansion plan. I'm a little disappointed about this, because Illuminations is a great show that reflects the theme that I was talking about earlier, unifying as one society in which we live together in harmony. And I love that theme of the show. The rumor explains that the new fireworks show will likely incorporate more Disney characters from all around the world to keep that sense of unification. I hope the new fireworks show still revolves around that same theme, because it is an excellent one. So I'm excited to see what direction that comes in, but for now I am going to continue to enjoy Illuminations Reflections of Earth while it is still here in Epcot, because it is a fantastic show. Alright, I had a super great day today. Thank you everybody for coming along on my tour of Epcot as I went over some of the updates and changes that are likely to be coming within the next 5 years. They're speculating and hoping that these changes will be done in the fall of 2020, just in time for Epcot's 40th anniversary. And unfortunately, this is all the information that I have right now on Epcot. Hopefully, once D23's 2017 Expo officially begins on July 14th, they will release more information and more details about the changes that are going to be made to Epcot over the next couple years. If you want to read more about the updates that are coming and find out where I was getting my information from, the link will be down in the description below. Walt Disney World News Today, that's where I got all of my information from. I give all of the credit for this information to them. I also want to remind everyone that all of the things I talked about today are still rumors. None of them have been officially confirmed yet, which is why I didn't give too many details, because they haven't released many details. So we're going to have to see together as time goes on, how Epcot was going to change. This is a rudimentary outline for what is likely to be coming at Epcot. As for me personally, I'm excited for these changes, but I'm also sad. It is hard for me to deal with change, especially when it comes to changes to Disney, because it is something that I hold very near to my heart. I grew up riding all of these rides in Epcot and coming to Epcot expecting to see these things, which is also part of the problem and part of why Epcot needs these changes. I grew up on them. They've been here for so long.
You're only 20, calm down.
It's not fair for kids today to be growing up with these rides because it's not Epcot to them, it's Epcoy, experimental prototype community of yesterday. It doesn't make sense to them because it is not the world of today. It's more in the past for them than it is the future. All of us need Epcot to be brought back into the future and out of the past. So, with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope your day was just as great as mine was. Hang loose everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.